For more than 50 years, his voice has been the soundtrack of working people everywhere. The guy who turned long drives, late nights, and blue-collar stories into anthems still echoing from radios today. He never chased stardom. He just told the truth. And the truth always sounded like Seger. His sound was born in Detroit bars and never polished away. Even when the world got louder, flashier, more complicated, he stayed the same, honest, direct, no games, just a man with a guitar singing about growing up, growing older, and everything in between. The Silver Bullet Band wasn't just a backing group. They were family. They gave his words weight, turning simple stories into something unforgettable. And buried in decades of records and tours are 5 songs that never left him. 5 songs that mattered more than the rest. These are Bob Seger's 5 favorites, the ones that never changed, not once, not ever. 5 old-time rock and roll hits are accidents. This one became America. It wasn't even meant to matter. It was just a B-side. Seger almost didn't record it at all, but the songs you don't plan are sometimes the ones that live forever. The late 70s were drowning in disco and complicated rock. People felt like something real was slipping away. Then Seger walked into the studio with a simple idea. 3 chords, a straight rhythm, and words that spoke to everyone. Give me that old-time rock and roll. The Silver Bullet Band locked in instantly. No overthinking, just raw energy. The piano pounded, the drums hit hard, and Seger sang like he was guarding something sacred. Because he was protecting the feeling that music should be felt, not dissected. Nobody predicted what came next. It became more than a hit. It became a war cry. Wedding bands played it. Sports arenas blasted it. Movies immortalized it, especially that unforgettable risky business scene with Tom Cruise. And yet, the strangest thing happened. A song about looking backward never grew old. Every generation since has claimed it as their own. Because old-time rock and roll isn't really about the past, it's about craving something real in a world that keeps getting faker. Seger still plays it every night, and every night the crowd erupts, not for nostalgia, but for honesty. Sometimes the simplest song is the truest reminder of who we are. We've got tonight some songs or promises. This one admitted there were none. Unlike his usual highways and bars, Seger wrote this from loneliness, pure and unfiltered. 2 people, both tired, both longing, sharing one night without pretending it's forever. He wrote it in 20 minutes, but it took him years to realize why it struck so deep. In the studio, he started alone at a piano. His voice cracked with vulnerability, unshielded. When the band joined in, they played softer than usual, almost protective of the truth inside it. He wasn't trying to be poetic. He was blunt. I know it's late. I know you're weary. And somehow, that realism was more romantic than any fairy tale. The song grew beyond him. Kenny Rogers and Sheena Easton turned it into a famous duet. Others covered it. But none captured what Seger did, that aching honesty of connection when you need it most. Even now, when he sings it live, arenas fall silent. Because everyone's had that night. Everyone's been that lonely, and for a few minutes we all remember what it felt like to be understood. Turn the page. Loneliness has a sound. And this was it. Seger didn't write it for charts. He wrote it for survival. It was born on the road. Endless highways, greasy diners, and hotel rooms that all blurred into one. Fame was supposed to make life easier. Instead, it made him an outsider everywhere he went. Long hair, leather jacket, walking into small-town cafes where strangers stared like he came from another planet. Alto Reed's haunting saxophone doesn't just open the song. It sets the mood. Heavy, weary, like a midnight conversation you don't want to end. Seger's voice follows, worn but steady, telling us what fame really costs. The band played it with restraint. No flash, no ego. Just space for the loneliness to breathe. And that's why it connected. Truckers, traveling salesmen, musicians, even office workers stuck in cubicles. Anyone who ever felt unseen claimed it as their anthem. Years later, Metallica made it heavier, angrier, but they didn't strip away the truth. Turn the Page isn't about being a rock star. It's about being human in a world that constantly wants you to be something else. Seger still plays it every tour, and it still resonates, because loneliness never goes out of style. Against the Wind Time doesn't ask permission. It just takes what it wants. Seger wrote this at 35, suddenly feeling every one of those years. The wild nights were behind him. The dreams had shifted, not smaller, just wiser. Driving through the Michigan countryside, he realized how everything changes. Friends drift away, ambitions fade, and the person you thought you'd always be turns into someone else. All you can do is keep running against the wind. The Silver Bullet Band didn't dress it up. The guitars were weathered, the drums steady, like a heartbeat. And Seger's voice carried the weight of experience without bitterness. Unlike most rock songs pretending youth lasts forever, this one admitted that time always wins. But you keep going anyway. Fans of every age felt it. Middle-aged listeners heard themselves in it. Younger fans understood it was about persistence, about pushing forward when giving up would be easier. Live shows turned it into a kind of prayer, thousands of voices rising together, each person remembering their own battles against the wind. Seger once said it taught him that growing up doesn't mean giving up, it just means choosing your battles more carefully. Night moves some. Songs are confessions. This one was a time machine. Night Moves didn't just tell Seger's story, it told everyone's. That awkward, electric moment between innocence and adulthood, when every kiss felt monumental and every night felt endless. He wrote it in his 30s, looking back on being 16 in Detroit, summer nights, cheap cars, fumbling romance, and dreams too big to hold. The recording was unlike anything the band had done before. It wasn't loud. It wasn't polished. It was intimate. The acoustic guitar whispered the melody. Seger's voice sounded like he was sharing a memory with close friends, not performing for an audience. And the genius was in what he left unsaid. The song doesn't spell out exactly what happened. It just gives you the feeling, the nerves, the wonder, the way everything mattered so much at that age. When it hit the radio, magic happened. Older listeners saw their pasts. Teenagers recognized their present. Because Night Moves wasn't about one person, it was about everyone's moment of growing up. It became Seger's signature song, but it never felt forced, never commercial. Even now when he plays it, it feels fresh, like he's discovering those nights all over again. Because great songs don't just remind you who you were. They remind you that part of you is still alive right now.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.